In the beginning, there was only the sky and the sea. So where did the first Filipinos come from? The answer isn't in any history book, but in an ancient legend, a story about a frustrated mythical bird, a lone bamboo stalk, and the birth of a people defined by strength and beauty. This is a story that has been whispered through generations, a myth that's more than a simple creation tale. It's about identity, balance, and the very soul of a nation. Every culture has its origin story, that one foundational narrative that explains where its people came from. For the Philippines, one of the most beloved is the legend of Malakas and Maganda. It's a story as resilient as the bamboo at its heart. And unlike tales of gods shaping humans from clay, this Filipino legend imagines humanity born directly from nature, in perfect balance. It's a story that was passed down orally for centuries, shaping the cultural DNA of the archipelago long before any Spanish ships dotted the horizon. But this story isn't some dusty relic. It has been told and retold, adapted by each new generation, and even twisted for political gain, making its journey through time just as fascinating as the myth itself. If you really want to understand the Philippines, you first have to understand the story of Malakas and Maganda. Before the Philippines was a chain of over 7,000 islands, there was almost nothing. Just two eternal entities: the sky, a vast, lonely expanse, and the sea, a restless, endless body of water. They existed in a tense, silent standoff, and between them flew a single, magnificent bird. Depending on who's telling the story, this bird might be a kite, or maybe the mythical Sarimanok, or Amihan, the golden bird of peace. For ages, the bird just soared through the emptiness, but it was getting tired. There wasn't a single branch to rest on, no land to build a nest. Its wings ached, and its spirit grew bored with the monotony. Frustration began to bubble up inside the creature, and in a moment of what you might call divine irritation, the bird decided things had to change. So, it started to stir up trouble. It flew up to the sky and said, "Hey, the sea is planning to drown you in salt water." Then, it swooped down to the churning waves and warned, "Watch out! The sky is about to throw giant rocks at you." The trick worked perfectly. The enraged sea swelled up, sending massive waves crashing towards the heavens. The sky fought back, unleashing furious storms and lightning that struck the water's surface. This elemental war raged on, a chaotic dance of wind and water. The sea's waves clawed higher and higher, but to finally end the conflict, the sky began dropping giant boulders into the ocean. These boulders, thrown from above, shattered the sea's assault, forcing the water to flow around them. In that moment of cosmic collision, something new was born. The stones became land. The Philippine archipelago was formed, a string of pearls scattered across a now calm sea. The conflict was over, and the weary bird finally had a place to rest its wings. The brand new islands were lush and alive. Trees shot up, flowers bloomed, and the land became a paradise. The bird, its mission complete, glided down to the shore of one of these islands. While exploring, it noticed a single, tall bamboo stalk growing near the water. This was no ordinary plant. Some versions of the legend say the bamboo was the child of the land breeze and the sea breeze, a perfect fusion of earth and water. Other variations claim that the supreme god, Bathala, planted the bamboo himself as a sacred gift to the world. The bamboo stood tall and proud, a symbol of resilience and flexibility, qualities that would soon define the people about to emerge from it. The bird, thirsty from its long journey, was drawn to the plant. It landed gracefully on one of its nodes, preparing to peck it for a drink. But as it drew close, it heard a faint tapping from inside the hollow stalk. The bird paused, listening. Then it heard faint whispers, almost like a plea to be set free. Intrigued, the bird hopped along the length of the bamboo, its sharp talons clicking against the surface. The voices grew louder, more distinct. "Peck us free! Peck us free!" they cried. Driven by curiosity and a sense of purpose, the bird began to peck at the bamboo. It struck the stalk again and again, its beak like a tiny hammer against the tough wood. Finally, with one powerful strike, the bamboo cracked and split open with a loud splintering sound. From one half of the stalk stepped a man, tall and powerfully built. From the other emerged a woman, graceful and strikingly beautiful. They were the first humans. The man was named Malakas, which means the strong. The woman was Maganda, which means the beautiful. The emergence of Malakas and Maganda from a single bamboo stalk isn't just a creation story. It's packed with symbolism that gets to the very heart of Filipino cultural values. Unlike creation stories that place man before woman, this myth presents their birth as a simultaneous and equal event. They come from the same source, at the same time, making them partners, not a leader and a follower. This points to a deep-seated cultural value of gender balance. Strength and beauty aren't opposing forces, but two complementary halves of a whole. The names themselves, Malakas for strength and Maganda for beauty, are deeply significant. Malakas represents not just physical power, but courage and resilience. Maganda embodies not just physical attractiveness, but grace, kindness, and a nurturing spirit. The legend suggests that a healthy society needs a balance of both. The bamboo itself is a powerful symbol in Filipino culture, known for being incredibly resilient. It bends in the strongest winds, but doesn't break. By having humanity emerge from it, the myth suggests that the Filipino people are inherently able to withstand adversity with grace. It also signifies a deep connection to the natural world. Humanity is a child of nature, not its master. This myth has been passed down for centuries, and it's changed from island to island. The first known written account comes from a Spanish chronicler, Miguel de Loarca, back in 1582. He documented a version he found among the Visayan people, but in his telling, the man and woman had no names. Some central Visayan myths, recorded by the anthropologist F. Landa Jocano, named the pair Sikalak and Sikabay. The now famous names, Malakas and Maganda, are thought to have been popularized much later in Tagalog literature, especially in a 1941 essay by Francisco B. Icasiano. In one popular variation of the story, Malakas and Maganda had many children who were lazy and idle. Frustrated, Malakas grabbed a stick and started chasing them. The children scattered, and where they hid supposedly determined their social status. Those who hid in the inner rooms of the house became the chiefs. Those in the walls became slaves. Those who ran outside became free men. Those who hid in the sooty fireplace became the dark-skinned peoples. And those who fled to the sea and were gone for years returned as white-skinned foreigners. It's a fascinating, if complicated, folk explanation for social hierarchies and the diversity of races. For centuries, the legend of Malakas and Maganda was a story that belonged to the people, a shared cultural inheritance. But in the 20th century, this beloved myth was twisted into a powerful tool of political propaganda. During the period of martial law, which began in 1972, President Ferdinand Marcos and his wife, First Lady Imelda Marcos, began to portray themselves as the living embodiments of Malakas and Maganda. This was a calculated move to legitimize their authoritarian rule. The Marcos regime wanted to create a new society, and they positioned themselves as the mythical parents of this new nation. Ferdinand, with his manufactured image of a war hero and strongman leader, was Malakas. Imelda, with her glamorous persona and patronage of the arts, was Maganda. The propaganda wasn't subtle. The couple commissioned numerous artworks that explicitly depicted them as the mythical first Filipinos. One of the most infamous examples was a pair of large paintings that hung in the Malacanang Palace, showing a muscular, half-naked Ferdinand as Malakas and a serene Imelda as Maganda. These images were everywhere, meant to send a clear message. The Marcoses weren't just political leaders. They were the destined, godlike parents of the Filipino people. This psychological manipulation was designed to tap into the collective Filipino unconscious, using a cherished story to build a cult of personality. As historian Vicente L. Rafael noted, by casting themselves this way, the Marcoses could imagine themselves as the father and mother of the nation, a position that allowed them to redraw all boundaries, social, political, and cultural. This mythological branding was a powerful distraction from the brutal realities of their regime. While the government promoted slogans about a compassionate society, Imelda Marcos was famously ordering whitewashed fences built to hide Manila's sprawling slums from foreign visitors. Behind the beautiful facade of Maganda and the strong veneer of Malakas, the nation was suffering. The country's debt ballooned, corruption was out of control, and political opponents were silenced, tortured, or killed. The beautiful story of creation had become a grotesque tool of deception. So, the legend of Malakas and Maganda has had a wild journey. It's a story that has traveled from pre-colonial campfires to the marble halls of a dictator's palace and into our world today. At its core, it's still a beautiful explanation of Filipino origins, celebrating balance, resilience, and a deep connection with nature. It tells of a people born not from dust, but from the very heart of their land. But its history is also a chilling reminder of how even the most sacred stories can be twisted for political gain, used to mask oppression and greed. Yet, the story survived. In the decades since the dictatorship fell, there has been a conscious effort to reclaim the legend and return it to its roots. Modern interpretations often highlight its themes of gender equality and environmentalism, finding new relevance in the ancient tale. Today, the story continues to evolve. It's more than just a myth. It's a cultural compass and a piece of living history. It reminds us that strength without compassion is just brutality, and beauty without the strength of conviction is fragile. It teaches that true power lies in balance. The whispers from the bamboo stalk live on, not just as a story of how the Filipino people began, but as an enduring message of who they aspire to be. If you found this story of strength and beauty compelling, please like this video and subscribe for more journeys into mythology and culture. What does the legend of Malakas and Maganda mean to you? Share your thoughts in the comments below.